The real democracy delusion. What is the democracy delusion? How can democracy be a delusion? We all vote, don't we? We put our leaders into power, don't we? This channel was set up to expose one of the biggest lies in modern history. That is, what we call democracy is actually not democracy at all. In fact, it isn't even close. So what is democracy and where does it come from? Democracy emerged around 500 BC in Athens, the most powerful city-state in ancient Greece. Athens was the home of Socrates, arguably one of the most important philosophers of all time. Athens was also the home of Plato's Academy and Aristotle's Lyceum. It was widely referred to as the cradle of Western civilization. The vast majority of the great philosophers can trace their roots back to this period. The term comes from the original Greek demos, meaning people, and kratos, meaning power. Other Greek cities set up democracies also, but the Athenian model being the predominant choice. But Athens was by far the most stable and the most dominant. It remains to this day a unique example of a direct democracy. Participation was by no means open, of course, but those chosen to participate were selected from right across the economic spectrum, and participation occurred on a scale that is unprecedented. Even though the Athenian democracy was suppressed by the Macedonians in 322 BC, it was later revived, but to the extent to which it could be considered a real democracy is widely debated by scholars. Since this period, democracy has spread through the world to most, if not all, the so-called civilized Western societies. Millions and millions of people worldwide participate in this process. Democracy is an umbrella term that simply means the people choose. The republic is a type of democracy. This is why, when you hear people say the words, "America is not a democracy, it is a republic," they are really making no sense. Most of them really mean, America is not a direct democracy and we have a constitution and laws, etc. Most of these things that people think they love about their republic aren't even specific to republics at all. There is no reason why a direct democracy cannot have a constitution, or a Bill of Rights, or a law code. The only difference between direct democracy and a republic is that in a republic you choose a representative to speak on your behalf, whereas in a direct democracy you speak for yourself. Both systems have drawbacks and limitations, and we will be discussing the merits of both systems in the next series. Untold millions have given their lives to protect and defend the principle of democracy. On the face of it, democracy, in the form of a republic, seems to be an ideal system. The people vote a representative into office to make their will known, and the representative takes the grievances of the people to be heard before the government. So, whatever happens, ultimately, is the will of the people, right? Wrong. Unfortunately, this system is festooned with backdoors and openings, giving anyone so motivated to simply exploit the system for financial gain. In England, the Bank of England, formerly the Governor and Company of the Bank of England, was established in 1694. England and France were at war, and just 4 years earlier, after a crushing naval defeat at the Battle of Beachy Head, the coffers were drained and England's image as a military power was in tatters. William Paterson had only 3 years before this proposed a plan to Charles Montague, 1st Earl of Halifax, whereby a loan could be secured to the government for a figure of 1.2 million. In return, the subscribers would be incorporated as the Governor and Company of the Bank of England, with long-term banking privileges including the issue of notes. The Royal Charter was granted on July the 27th through the passage of the Tonnage Act of 1694. The English finances were so dire at this stage that the loan was secured at 8%, with a service charge of £4,000 per annum. The first governor was Sir John Holborn, depicted in the 1994 £50 notes. In 1775 in America, the money supply from England had almost entirely dried up, and the colonies were struggling to facilitate trade. So they came up with a simple but ingenious solution. They started printing their own money. Now, unlike the legitimate English currency, the new American money was issued without being indebted to the institution that issued it. More important to understand still, it was not indebted to the institutions back home, and by now, most of Europe, that controlled the money supply. This action saw the British colonies enjoy a period of economic prosperity that was truly unparalleled in the world, comparing only to Rome when Julius Caesar did the very same thing. Over the next few hundred years, control over the money supply was hotly fought over. A centralised bank was set up and then later removed. At the turn of the century, the banking cartel swept in with a brilliant piece of legal trickery and took over control of the money supply, and in doing this, they secured their position as absolute, if not clandestine, rulers supreme. After all, what power do you have against families that own nearly half the world's wealth, control and monopolise global resources like oil, gold, and control and produce the very money we all use?